I'm live. Oh, yes, okay. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Um, I have no idea if I'm looking at you or if I'm not looking at you. We've been practicing this, Chris and I. For the last 10 minutes, I've not been able to know where to look on this screen. I'm using a different iPad this morning because for some reason or another, the other iPad wouldn't work for sound. If you would be darlings for me and just let us know, am I looking at you weirdly? Can you hear me? It's like, oh my goodness me. All right, Chris, am I looking in the right place?
You could go a little bit more right.
All right. Well, that's the best I can do. Right. All right. So, for all of you out there listening to this, if I'm looking a little bit sort of cross-eyed here, it's really not my fault. It's the camera on these things. Right. So, good morning, good morning, good morning, and oh my goodness me, what a busy morning this has been. I've been playing catch up the whole morning. I've no idea why. And so, first of all, let me say good morning to my spirit guide, Grey Eagle, who is right by my side. And as you've already heard, we have Chris on the line with us this morning.
Good
Chris,
morning, everyone.
good morning, good morning, good morning, Chris. So, let me see. First of all, I don't know how many of you saw my Christmas cake efforts yesterday. Let me just tell you that I shall be streaming, restreaming, whatever it's called, later on, either today or tomorrow, because I'm going to show you how to feed my Christmas cake. Some of you have already asked for the recipe for the Christmas cake. I'm going to copy and paste it, and Chris is going to put it up on where Facebook.
I would, yeah, your different Facebook
Yeah.
places.
So this recipe comes straight out of my cookbook, and as I was saying yesterday, even though it is, I got the original recipe out of a Mrs. Beeton's. Mrs. Beeton was the very well known in the Victorian era. She was a woman writing a book. Wow, that was something. And she has some phenomenal recipes. What I really love, I don't know if you've ever read this book, Chris, or if I've ever shown you this book, but what I love about this book is that at the beginning of the book, first of all, it gives you designs on kitchens. And if you looked at them, they're so funny. They're so sort of old-fashioned to us now. But it also gives instructions on etiquette, how you should treat your maids, and
Oh my.
how you should treat your laundress. And but there is a fascinating part of the book which gives us some nature's remedies, which from time to time over the years I've used, and I've used them quite a lot actually. So it's a very interesting book. It shows you pictures of the latest ovens that you can buy. I mean, this, I have to tell you, all of this predates my days, in my early days in the kitchen. But the recipes are fantastic. Of course, what you have to do, which is what I learned to do, which is actually how I learned to cook, I took Mrs. Beeton's recipes and I made them my own because I couldn't possibly afford the ingredients that she suggested, you know, prime beef or, you know, special fish or whatever. I couldn't possibly afford, so I had to sort of, let's say, dumb it down a little bit, which really basically not actually dumbing it down, but using some of the same methods, but trying to understand that if you've got a rotten cheap piece of meat, you've got to cook it a bit longer. I don't know what's going on here. If I lose you, if my battery is low, which it really shouldn't be, oh my goodness, Chris, we could be having trouble here. If I lose you, I'm going to go on the other iPad. Because even though this thing was plugged in and it should be on full battery, it's just telling me that it isn't. So it's obviously going to be one of those mornings. Anyway, so this is Victorian Christmas recipe with my own little touches involved here and there. And I took it out of the oven. It smells delicious. It's all wrapped up at the moment, and I'll be feeding it in the next couple of days. So watch out for my restreaming. I know, Chris, that I'm not known as a cook, as a chef or whatever. Um, but it was wonderful yesterday to do it because whenever I'm in the kitchen and I'm really cooking and I'm doing something, I always, well, I often, not always, but I often see my father who comes to stand by my side and give his opinion of my cooking, which is he gives little hints and tips. And if it's something that I'm cooking that I actually don't like or I don't want to taste, I have to ask him and Grey Eagle, did I put enough salt in that, or do I need a bit more seasoning there? If I don't want to taste something, I have two great tasters, one on either side of me, helping me out with my cooking. As we all do, just a heads up for all of you out there who have lost your parents or you've lost someone close to you. If you want their help in the kitchen, all you have to do is listen. Chris, what do you think to that then?
You know, this morning I was reading on your YouTube, they send out a monthly newsletter, and they said that since COVID started, so let's say mid-March when people were on lockdowns, some of the most streamed videos had to do with cooking because so
Oh,
many people now had to go home and learn how to cook.
oh,
So the
really?
fact that you're doing cake making, special cake making, you fit right in there.
All right, that's interesting, isn't it? I think an awful lot of people through COVID have actually learned to cook. I do know though, because I have a friend in England who's had one or two little disasters. But as we learn to cook, we all have those disasters. So if you're having some disasters, please, please, please don't give up. I think one of the things about cooking that people who don't cook or don't know how to cook, they'll think, oh, look, I'll just put in a bit of this and I'll put in a bit of that. And they think if they put some seasoning in, then they put some more seasoning in. So my only, well, the best thing you can do, all of you out there who are learning to cook, is as you put a little bit of seasoning in, don't put too much in, and taste and taste and taste. And the secret to a good cook is taste, 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 taste. Just keep on tasting all the time. Right, Chris, shall we get on with what we're about this morning?
I think so.
Let's forget about the cooking now. I'm done. And until, of course, it comes to brandy time. And when I say brandy time, I was speaking to somebody last night, and they'd seen the video, and of course I put, I soak my fruit in brandy and so on. And they asked, "Is the bottle still out?" And it actually wasn't, and I don't know what I was thinking about, because I certainly should have had at least a glass of sherry while I was making that cake, shouldn't I? So as I'm going to be feeding the cake, I'm going to be having a glass of sherry along with it, because after all, it is Christmas. It's Christmas in my house anyway, let me put it that way. All right, let's go.
Well, thank goodness your big fans started you off, Cheryl and Audrey and Mark. They're saying you're positioned perfectly, they can hear you well, and they're sending love.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're so sweet. Thank you.
All right, so first question of the day
Uh-oh, yes.
from Audrey. How much of our day is free will and how much is guided by the divine?
Oh, that's a really good question. There are certain things, Audrey, that are meant to be, that are written down, and no matter what we try, no matter how we try, we cannot avoid them in any way, shape, or form. We come up against these situations. And then, of course, there are other situations, because we make our choices, because we use our free will, there are other situations that we actually create ourselves. But whichever the situation is, whether it's something that is preordained, doesn't mean that you have to, you have two choices, don't you? When you're given something that is difficult, or even when you're giving something that is fantastic, we always have choices in life, and we don't have choices in what happened perhaps, or what is going to happen necessarily, but we do have choices in our attitude. So we're given something that is really tough, which is really hard for us to deal with. Well, guess what? Our attitude says, grit your teeth, deal with it the best way you can, deal with it positively, understand that you're not on your own, or moan and complain, deal with it atrociously. It's not going to make any difference to the situation, but it's going to make a whole lot of difference to the way that you're feeling. And sometimes devastating things happen to us, and it's simply too hard to have a positive attitude. It's just too hard, and that's when we perhaps ought to be sending out that cry for help to our friends, to our family. I'm in a really tough spot and I'm struggling dealing with it. And that's when our friends and our family can help us, because they can, even if they just come and sit with us and stay with us and give us their time and their energy and their love, that makes a huge difference. So it's I think there are so few things that we can determine that happen to us, but the one thing we can determine is the attitude that we have towards those things that are going. Chris, I hate to say this to you. I'm actually going to have to switch to the other iPad because it's showing. Actually, can you keep talking while I go and get? Can you keep? While I go and get the lead to plug into this thing, because it's going to go any minute now. So
Sure.
If you keep talking, all right.
Okay. I get to entertain the masses. Well, folks, I've just begun helping Rosemary in the office. Michelle's taken on a great new job for herself, so she's been helping me transition. I hope once Rosemary changes out the iPad that we won't lose your questions, but the possibility exists. So if that happens, just log right back in and pop your questions in there, and we'll take them in the order that they come there.
Right.
Oh, she's back.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. Of course, when I do this, you do not know then what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to position me all over again. I'm actually not changing iPads, keeping my fingers crossed that this works. I'm actually, I'm plugging it in. Suddenly realised that, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Now, I just got to position myself once again. How about
Perfect.
that good?
Perfect. Yeah, where you're looking is great too.
Oh, good. So I just realized that that I unplugged. I have an iPad in the kitchen for my cooking, and then I have another iPad which I use for business. So I just realized that although the iPad looked as if it was plugged in, I'd unplugged it from the wall. So hopefully, keeping my crossed, it now has power. And it will start rowing up, and you won't lose me. So sorry about that. So let's carry on.
Okay.
People, I had to laugh. Sorry to interrupt you, Chris, but I was saying this yesterday in the cooking show, but I only said a part of it, and then I didn't finish my sentence because I got involved with what was going on in the bowl. But I did read a couple of days ago something on Twitter, I think it was, and somebody actually said the awful thing about restreaming is that if you make a mistake, it's there for everybody to see. And I think actually that's not an awful thing. I think that's a great thing, because we do make mistakes in life, and we do have upsets, and that's part of life. And I think nobody expects us to be perfect when we're doing this. And also, I tell you, I'm not perfect when I'm doing this. So I think it's, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have hiccups. It's okay for things to happen. And generally, I find that people find it either amusing or they're just really, really patient. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that's what you're all going to be. Right. Off you go, Chris.
Not only that, you're demonstrating that we can all be resilient when things come at us and come out the other side better.
I'm not sure it's resilience. I think it's just, hold your breath, grit your teeth, move forward. It's really, again, it's about attitude, isn't it? It's about having a good attitude. My friend came over last night, and I made a nice pesto pasta with some delicious shrimp sautéed in garlic and butter. Oh, it was really, really good. And I said to her, "Did you manage to catch the restream today?" And she sat and watched the whole thing, laughed all the way through. Said to me at the end, "Quite a comedian, aren't you?" Don't quite know what she meant by that, but there we are. I don't know if you got a chance to watch it, Chris, but
Oh, I did.
did you watch it all the way through?
I actually did, yes.
I enjoyed myself. It's just like, here I am imposing myself, my work, my kitchen on all of you, and as long as I have a good time, it's fine by me. Not really. Go, 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 go.
All right. Delphine from Belgium's on.
Morning, Delphine.
Hello, Rosemary. Are you okay? Would my grandmother have a message for me? She died in February.
Oh, darling, that's hard for you, and you obviously love her, and you're obviously close to her. I'm sure that she's with you. I don't see her right now. That doesn't mean she's not there with you, though, of course, and you know that. And I'm actually hearing Greg will tell me to tell you she is fine. She's doing well. So that's as much as I can do for you this morning. But I hope it's a little bit of something, isn't it? Yes, Chris.
Terry's saying, please send healing to my little grandson. He had his adenoids and tonsils removed. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, how old is this little boy? And that's quite a heavy surgery. Wonder how old he is. And of course we shall send him healing. Can you send us his name so that we can just put him in our healing book? And please keep us posted. Let us know how he's doing, would you? That's tough. That's tough. I hope you're being that, well, I'm pretty sure that you are that loving grandmother. When Reese is hurting, or if he always wants to tell me when things are not going quite right, or if he's got a boo-boo or something on his leg, as he calls it. And I live too far away to hold him in my arms on a physical level, but can always do it in another way. So you send out your energy and your healing thoughts, and you hold them, and you surround them with your energy and with your love in that way. And it's quite funny, because there are occasions, and this has happened often with my grandson, who is 7 years old, by the way, that he'll look at his mummy, and he'll say sometimes, Mama, I can smell Mosey. I can smell Mosey, and I have a certain and distinct smell that he recognizes. We all do, and and he knows when I'm about. He knows when I'm around him, which is pretty neat, I think. So of course we shall send him healing. Absolutely, yes, Chris.
Sarita's on, and she's saying, I've been hearing things around the house and feeling a spirit around the family in the house for a long time. I just want to know if that's my grandmother, Pamela. She died when I was 3.
Well, when we do have these connections with our loved ones in the spirit world, whether we knew them or not, we do get a sense of who they are. For many, many years, and especially when Samantha was first born, my husband's my husband's grandfather, so that would be Samantha's great grandfather, and I would feel this presence, it was really pretty strong. And it was an odd sensation, because I just knew who it was. And I think, my darling, that you know who this is. So go with that, but don't forget to talk. Don't forget to listen to what she has to say to you. Don't forget to say hi to her, and to welcome her into the home, because I'm sure you wanted to be there. But if this is who you feel it is, trust yourself. We talked about what we're going to be doing on the 24th of October in our webinar, and one of the things that we are going to talk about is how can we, just ordinary people, how can we, without the gift that perhaps you see that I have, how can we know? How can we tell? Do we need to go to see a medium at all? Is it really necessary? Or can we do these things ourselves? And we're going to talk about that. And I'm going to give you some little tips and little ways that you can tell, and that you can listen to those in the spirit world, and that you can learn to trust what it is that you're seeing or hearing or sensing that is around you. Our webinar is on the 24th. There are still some tickets left. And it's $45. And if you want to know more, Chris, did you put the link up this morning for that?
I did. I put it up at the beginning and I'll do it at the end, but all they need to do is to go on to Eventbrite and put in your name and it'll come up.
Eventbrite, B-R-I-T-E?
Yes.
So that's EVENTBRITE, Eventbrite. It is the 24th Saturday morning. And what is it, 10 till 12, Chris?
Yes, exactly.
Look at me. I seem to know what it is I'm talking about. That's unusual, right? Yes. So, if you'd like to know more about that and about mediumship and how it works for me in particular, and how it can work for you too, then join us on Eventbrite. You'll have a lot of fun, I can tell you. Yes, Chris, next question, please.
Naomi says, good morning, Rosemary and Grey Eagle.
Good morning.
I was just giving you the update on little baby Grace. Ooh, it looks like Rosemary has dropped off. Let's see if she can log back in here in a minute. This morning we tried her first iPad and she couldn't hear me. And now the second iPad has just dropped off. So bear with us. We'll be here shortly. Okay, Rosemary.
Sorry, the one thing that we didn't want to happen happened. And I can hear you, Chris.
Good.
How weird is that?
So are you back on the original?
Yes. All right. I'm so sorry, everybody. Let's get me settled again. Where am I looking? Right at myself. How about that, Chris? Is that good?
That's so interesting how each one you have to have a different focal point.
I know. I think it's where the camera's placed, in different places where the camera's placed. So I'm so sorry.
So we're back with Naomi. Naomi was giving us an update on little baby Grace. So she arrived on August 30th, and she is an angel sent to change the world, Naomi says.
Well, she's definitely going to change your world, isn't she? Oh, how wonderful. And thank you so much for letting us know. And what a beautiful, beautiful name, Grace. Isn't that a nice name? I was talking to someone the other day, someone I know who just had a baby. And, you've heard the Monday's child is, what is it? Monday's child is full of grace. Tuesday's
full of woe.
Child, pardon?
Monday's child is full of woe, I think.
Oh, no, that's not right. Monday's child is... Wait a minute. Full of grace. Tuesday's child. Wait a minute. I've got Monday's child wrong. Monday's child is something. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Oh my gosh. And I knew it inside out and backwards. But Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child has far to go. Saturday's child is loving and giving. No. Yeah, something like that. And but the child that is born on the Sabbath day is loving and something or another and gay. What is Monday's child?
Monday's child is fair of face.
Tuesday's
child is full of grace.
Tuesday's child is full of grace. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child has far to go. Saturday's child is loving and giving, but the child is born on Saturday. Have you got it, Chris?
I do.
Is
Saturday's child works hard for a living. The child that is born on the Sabbath day is bonny and blithe and good and gay.
Blithe.
Blithe. Okay.
Meaning,
blithe.
If you're meaning blithe means just full of everything. So, and guess what day I was born on? And anyway, I was born on a Sunday. All the good stuff. And my daughter and my grandson are Tuesday's children. So Tuesday's children are full of grace. And they truly are. So anyway, moving along, Chris.
All right.
I'm so happy about little Grace.
It's a lovely name.
Welcome, little Grace. Yeah.
All right. Cass is on.
Morning, Cass.
Rosemary, can you help me understand what I'm going through or some guidance? I am an empath, highly sensitive, intuitive, and medium. I am beginning my journey and feel lost.
I think you need a good teacher is what I think. So I think you need to sort of, I don't know where you live or where you are, but I think you need to find somebody who is good, which is not an easy thing to do. You should start with, you should really start with our, I don't usually do this, but on our webinar, you might find it extremely helpful to understand what's going on with you and to understand what it's all about. But it seems to me that you need somebody who knows what they're doing, who is honest about what they're doing, who has a true insight, who can help you and guide you and steer you. It's very confusing. If you are an empathic person, which you are, apparently, you tell me, it means that you are so extraordinarily sensitive and you feel everything, and it's easy for you to get upset about things. It's easy for you to be hurt. It's easy for people to hurt you, even if they don't understand that they are hurting you. How many times have people said to you, my darling, the problem with you or the trouble with you is that you're too sensitive or that you're oversensitive or what have you? In my book, there is no such thing as being overly sensitive or too sensitive. The people who say that are usually people who have no sensitivity whatsoever. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive. It is painful because you feel everything so much. And sometimes we have to step back and say, well, now, do I feel that way because I'm so sensitive? Did that person really mean to hurt me, or is it my sensitivity that is taking it too far and taking it up to a personal level? And more often than not, people who are around us, they don't understand how they hurt us. They don't understand that words can really be painful for people who are sensitive and people who are sensitive as you are. So I think, you need some help and guidance, and, you need to find... And as I say, I don't know where you live, and unfortunately I can't recommend anybody because I don't know where you live, but you need some careful, gentle handling. But don't be too hard on yourself, and don't be too hard on other people either. Give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm sure that the majority of the time people don't mean to hurt you, but because you are so sensitive, it is such a painful way to live sometimes. I know what I'm talking about. I'm speaking from experience. Let's have another question, Chris.
Suzanne saying, hello.
Hi, darling.
You shine.
Oh.
Is there a message at the moment that wants to be heard and sending blessings?
Well, love and light. Thank you. I'm glad you think that I shine. I do feel, isn't it a weird thing, Chris? I don't know if you've ever felt this, but it's almost as if you can feel the light inside of you and it's just glowing really, really brightly. And when I'm talking to people, especially with the work that I do, and especially when I'm working or in the kitchen, I love being in the kitchen or in the kitchen. I don't like the cleanup. Do we like the cleanup? Of course we don't like the cleanup. And I'm a very, very messy cook. I use every dish and every plate and every knife and I'm terrible, really. Thank goodness I've got a great dishwasher. So I think that what we all need to strive to do is to find the light within us, because if we can find the light within us, then that light will glow. And if we feed it, if we nurture it, if we can take care of ourselves, if we learn to be more spiritual, if we become kinder, if we become nicer, those things help the light within us to burn ever more brightly. And that's when people will look at you and say, wow, you know, she shines. People have commented to me all of my life that I have weird eyes. I was talking to my grandson about this just yesterday. When he watches me on a TV show, he'll look at me and he'll say, Mosey, your eyes. And I'll say, yes, starry eyes, starry eyes. Those eyes can see a lot. Those eyes know a lot. And we laugh about it. We have fun. And he's got starry eyes too. And he opens his eyes wide and we make fun of it. But you know that they say that the eyes are the mirror to the soul, and they, you know, we want them to shine, don't we? And we want our eyes to shine. We want our soul to shine through. So we have to work at it. It's not an easy thing necessarily, but thank you for saying that. Yes, Chris.
Your dear friend Mark from Tulsa says,
Hi, Mark from Tulsa. One of these days, Mark, I'm coming.
He says his furnace was fixed for now.
Yay!
I wait for the city inspector to make their inspections.
Hold your breath.
Here's my question. My soul illuminates. I have these dreams or daydreams about being a spiritual motivational speaker. You may not know of the late Leo Buscaglia, who did this motivational speaking. Does Gray Eagle see me doing this in my retirement? I have written many spiritual messages that I've shared in past services. Any thoughts? Oh, and I want some of that cake. I loved watching and hearing of your dad.
You can't have the cake, but I could give you the recipe. It's a really easy recipe to make. Right. Well, you just came right on top of that last question that I answered about light and the light within. What is all this you're asking? Can I or will I be? Aren't you already? And when you retire, won't you just continue to be more of who you can be? A motivational speaker, without doubt, but aren't you already in a small way? And yes, if you choose to, you can expand and keep me posted, because I really want to know what you're going to be up to. I think I answered that question. Yes, Chris.
Jacqueline Ivy's on.
Hi, darling.
A lot of people are claiming to be mediums when they are psychics. Is it my understanding that mediums are also psychics, but not all psychics are mediums? Can you educate us and tell us, how can one tell if a medium is a medium versus a psychic?
All right, I'll do my best. And we'll be talking more on this subject, and I'll be educating you more when we do our live webinar. Now, I am psychic. The word psychic means, that you're able to see, to sense, or in lots of different ways. Some people can see with their eyes or beyond. They use vision. Some people can hear. Some people so different mediums have different gifts and different talents. So, you can if you're a medium, as I am, are you clairaudient, claircognizant? Can you see? Can you hear? Are you aware in what are the different talents that you have that you have within your psychic abilities? And you can't really be a medium if you don't have psychic ability. Now, often mediums, I'm going to use the term medium in its purest form, meaning connecting with. You are a medium. You are the medium between those in the spirit world, those in the afterlife, and those who are here on this earth. And as I've said, most mediums do have one or two of clairaudient, claircognizance, or whatever. Clairvoyant meaning seeing further, clairaudient meaning hearing and further than the ordinary hearing, the ordinary vision, and so on. And I happen to, for some reason or another, I happen to have all of those. So I not only see and hear and sense and feel and touch and all of those things, but I beyond our normal senses and beyond our normal sensitivity. So you have to be a medium to be able to have at least one of those gifts. But I am not a psychic. Now, people call me a psychic, but I don't call myself a psychic. I am a spiritual medium using my psychic abilities. Somebody who is psychic is somebody who can perhaps see or see into the future or be able to see further than or to whatever, however they do it, but they're not connecting with the spirit world. They are either using, tools, instruments, tarot cards, or they're using, what is it, Chris, when we use we use jewelry, we use different things,
psychometry,
to sense things. We use psychometry or whatever it is, crystal balls or whatever. But a spiritual medium will be psychic, but is not a psychic. A spiritual medium will use her psychic abilities to connect and to reach out to those in the spirit world. And a good spiritual medium will be able to contact, to talk to be able to hear, to be able to see, to be able to listen to what those in the spirit world have to say. I recently, in the last couple of days, was talking to a lady who, I wasn't quite sure how far we would get with this until someone, and I didn't necessarily hear who that someone was. It took me a little while to find those in the spirit world, but boy, they described her home in the most, in detail, the most incredible detail. They described her home, they described the new patio, they described the fact that she just had something done with a swimming pool and the chlorine. And yes, she said, we've just switched from chlorine to salt water. I mean, when you're talking to a medium who has this gift, they will be able to be very precise and very clear in certain things in order to give you the evidence that they are talking to your loved ones in the spirit world. So I hope that helps you to figure it out. Yes, Chris.
Wookie Bear's on.
Hi, darling.
I lost my aunt a week ago. Before she passed, I was led by spirit to find her. I hadn't seen her in years. I knew something was wrong, and I could feel her not being able to breathe. I found her in a hospital, and I think I made her happy finding her. She couldn't talk much and passed a few days later. I was wondering, who in spirit helped me find her?
Oh my goodness, it could have been any number of people. I want you to sit down quietly. I think you know already who it is. Someone who's very, very close to you. Gregor tells me that it's there's a male connection that you have, a very strong male connection in the spirit world that you have. I hate it when I say that, because what does it mean anyway? But I think you'll know yourself. I think you already know who this is. But this is odd, because when you're telling this story to me, and I love the story, it's so odd because years and years and years ago, I had a client who had the exact same experience with an aunt who had gone missing and nobody could find her. And just before she died, they found her. They found her in a home. She wasn't doing particularly well, but they were able to have those last moments with her. So, wow, how lovely for you and how lovely for your aunt. How lovely. Chris. And sorry, and thank you for sharing that. Sorry, I'll shut up now. Chris, go for it.
We're all here for you. You don't need to shut up. All right, Bet is on. Hi, everybody. I would like to know, what are the signs that tell me if a relative of mine whom I have loved very much is close to me, and how can I get my message of love to him? Thank you for all.
Oh, well, it's easy. If you join us in our webinar, I'll tell you all about it, and I'll tell you exactly what to do and how to do it. But if I give all of these secrets away now, nobody's going to come to the webinar. Why would you bother if I'm going to tell you here and now? Just listen. Listen to, him, and he'll hear your thoughts. That's all I'm saying for now. That's it, Chris.
Ravi is on.
Morning, Robbie.
Hi, Rosemary. Lovely to see you. Hope you are doing good. I have a question.
Yes.
I and my family got ancestral curse clearing from a psychic in India. I just wanted to have a second opinion from Grey Eagle, whether that was cleared completely or not. Do you still sense energies related to an ancestral curse around me and my family? What is yours or Grey Eagle's view?
I'm asking Grey Eagle about this, and I've had some experience with this sort of thing also. There are people out there who are listening to this thinking, oh, that's a bit crazy, or that can't happen. But it actually does happen, and it can happen. That doesn't mean it's necessarily true. It doesn't mean necessarily that there was, in fact, a curse. But in this particular case, Grey Eagle has his hand on my shoulder, and even as I'm talking to you, we're wrapping a certain energy around you. There's a healing energy. It's a protective energy. I'm told, Grey Eagle tells me to tell you, you are safe. I do feel, however, that I have to tell you that I feel that you've always been safe. But when something happens or somebody has put a curse on you, it's more about how you're dealing with it, and it's more about the fear of that happening, and it's a frightening thing that somebody feels so horribly about you that they would do such a thing, and that makes the situation much more unsafe for you, because it's sort of like if somebody puts an idea in your head, then if you follow that idea through, it can make things worse. So even though I do think that this has worked for you, and what you did has worked for you, I think you do need now, if you can, to let go of the idea that it happened at all. If you can let go of that, Grey Eagle is putting energy around you and your family, and I'm told, really importantly, to tell you, you are safe. So I really hope that helps you. I'd like to know if you'd like to respond back to that. I'd like to know how you feel about that, and if you're feeling a little bit better about it. Chris.
Judith says, I love my house. I love my neighborhood and my memories here. But my neighborhood has changed. Do you see a new home for me? That is what I'm praying for. Thank you.
I hear this so many times. In fact, weirdly, another weird little thing. In my neighborhood, we had somebody. It was an anonymous letter, but it spelled out. When I first came to this neighborhood, it was wonderful. The people were wonderful, and so on and so forth. And now there are drugs, and there's this and that. This happens not particularly in my particular spot, but in certain areas of the neighborhood, things like this are going on. And unfortunately, it's happening more and more and more. I do think, actually, if I'm listening to Grey Eagle, I do think you will move, and I do think you will find something that is a little safer and feels comfortable for you. I do think it'll be a smaller but nicer and cozier environment. I think there are times, I remember years ago holding onto the doorframe of my house in Leicestershire, saying, I don't want to go, and crying because I love the house, I love the neighborhood, I loved everything about everything, and I was being forced by circumstance, not financial, but forced by circumstance to let go of everything that I loved and everything that I knew. However, it only took a few weeks before I started to feel really, really good, because now I was having a new experience and giving new opportunities. So don't be afraid to move, my darling. Don't be afraid to sort of have this next opportunity, because it is going to be an opportunity for you to learn and to grow and to sort of have, some peace of mind. And I think that's a good thing. Please let us know how you get on. I think your prayers are definitely going to be answered here. Chris.
Valentina from Italy is on.
Good morning, Valentina.
Good morning, dear. I would like to know if my husband's work problem is going to have resolution. Maybe my father can say something. Thank you a lot. Hugs from Italy.
Well, hugs back to you. And I wouldn't normally, I wouldn't normally approach this in this way. But Grey Eagle is putting his hand on my shoulder, so I do think that you must really need some help and some guidance. And so I can tell you that his situation will continue as it is for a little while yet, unfortunately. And it may seem even to get steadily worse rather than getting better. But eventually, yes, it will improve. Whether or not you like those improvements is a whole other thing, but I do think you're going to have to put up with this for a while yet, my love. I'm sorry to say. Chris.
Adrian wants to know, do you have any ideas for what the rest of the year will look like?
It depends on your attitude, Adrian. Yes, I'm aware that the COVID numbers are going up. I'm also aware that it's winter. I'm also aware that there are more coughs and colds and so on and so forth. Be careful, be careful, be careful. I know there are people who get annoyed with me when I say this, but the percentage of people who get sick from whatever it is, the percentage is so low of the people who are sick, who have a fatal condition. Stay safe. Make sure that you take precautions. Make sure that you do the right things, as we do every single winter. I do think, should I say this? I do think that we're going to have some difficulties come November and into December, and I do think we're going to get a bit of a rude awakening, and I think that things are going to get steadily worse for all of us, not just in the United States, but for so many people around the world. Please don't panic when I say that. It's a temporary thing. So I do think that there are things coming that we won't like, and there are things that are coming that are going to test us. Remember, you can't die before it's your time to die. Remember that you can't, you can't, there's things in life that you can't control because other people have the reins. But I think, I was talking to my daughter the other day, and I'm sure she won't mind me telling you this, but we were talking about this entire situation as it related to her. And sometimes it's almost as if everything as we know it will change, and then out of the ashes rises the phoenix. And if you know the story of the phoenix, the phoenix always rises, but there always have to be ashes, there always has to be destruction, there always has to be change, there always has to be, it's almost as like having a clearing out of some of the stuff that's going on, and out of the ashes, truthfully, I do believe, will rise the phoenix, which is a fabulous and a wonderful thing. So I think that it might be tough for a while, but we will rise up and we will win the day. Out of the ashes will rise the phoenix. Chris.
Rosemary says, Good morning,
Good morning.
And I wish you enough always. I have some heart health issues. Is my mom helping me with this?
Without a doubt, but we can help you too. If you'd like us to put you on our healing list, we will certainly send you healing. I do feel, though, you need to sort of take a look at your diet a little bit, because I think that there may be one or two things that you could change which could help you and could improve your situation. no salt, no red meat. Oh gosh, can't believe I'm saying that. No red meat. Just be careful, and as little dairy as you can possibly tolerate. So just pay attention to what you're doing. Eating hard cheese is the worst thing, but there's lots of lovely goat's cheese. I had an ice cream the other day. I don't know why I'm talking about this. Non-dairy, non-gluten. It sounds awful, right? It was delicious. And actually, if I remember next time, I'll tell you what it was. But it was a fantastic thing. It was really, really delicious. And it was only when I looked at the box and realized, because if I'd have seen non-dairy, I might not have bought it as an ice cream, but it was really, really good. There are lots of things that you can do, but we'll put you on our healing list if you'd like us to. And please keep us posted on your health. And absolutely, those in the spirit world who you love and who you care about are helping you in every way they can. Yes. Chris?
December's asking,
good morning.
How can I develop a better connection with the spirit world and with my spirit guides / ancestors? Do they have a message for me? Thank you.
Well, again, I'm going to be talking more about this on the 24th of October. Eventbrite is the place to go, and you can buy tickets, and I'll be talking much more in depth about this stuff and how we can, what we can do to develop our own gifts, what we can do to understand the spirit world much better, what we can do to understand about mediumship and about how mediumship works. And there'll be opportunities on the webinar to ask questions as well. So let's move on for now, Chris.
Yeah. Terry has a comment which I don't understand, but I'll read it.
Go for it.
They said he will be in January. His name is Atlas. So I'm not sure if we're looking for healing here or something else.
Or maybe he is, thinking to have some sort of a prediction. You need to be a bit clearer, because we really can't help you if you're not a bit clearer. Okay, Chris.
Cheryl says, my mother passed 3 years ago, and an aunt that was close to me passed 7 months ago. Did they have a message for me?
They can tell you. It's like, I wasn't expecting it, Cheryl, but it just came out of the blue to tell you that they are together and loving every minute of it. So, I have 2 lovely people who are together, and they want you to know that they're together and that they're fine and watching you and watching over you also. Chris, it just that just came, whoa, like, we're together. Wow. Yes.
Audrey's saying, please send my mom Lenza healing, and please send me healing. So we'll get them on our healing list.
Absolutely. If you'd like to sort of, you can, if you want to tell me a little bit more about what's going on, you can. You don't have to, but you can. But email me, rosemary@rosemaryaLtea.com.
Shashi is on.
Morning, Shashi.
Namaste. And
I think Shashi came on when I did my, my little blurb at 10 something to let everybody know I was coming on. And I did actually look at all of the comments and questions afterwards. But I'm pretty sure Shashi made a comment. So let's hear it, Chris.
All right. Namaste and loads of love from India.
Namaste.
My sister-in-law suffered a miscarriage at 7 months of her pregnancy. Ooh. Between January and February of 2018.
Uh-huh.
Any message from that soul from my family, brother and sister-in-law, that was in the womb of my sister-in-law that was miscarried? Why did that soul choose to be miscarried from the womb of my sister-in-law?
Well, some souls choose to come here and, and live a full life, taking advantage of everything that there is there on this earth plane, as we have done, as you've done, as I've done. Some souls decide that they just need the experience of connecting with an earth, someone from this earth plane. They just need that connection for whatever reason. They need it to learn. They need it to grow. They need to have that just that small connection. And some souls, and in fact, I was talking to someone just yesterday who had this exact same issue. Um, a little girl who was lost at 37 weeks, I think. And she was able to, or her, and that happened very recently. She was able, her grandparents who were in the spirit world brought her to us, and I was able to reassure the mother that she was fine, that she would grow, and so on. Sometimes, and I think this is the case in your case, my darling, I think that, or your sister's case, I think that this soul decided that not only did it want to get to know your sister and chose your sister, not only did she want to get to know your sister, she wants to get to know all of your family. And I do believe you have an angel in place within your family who is going to help you all, especially, apparently I'm told, excuse me, especially the children. So I think that was why this child chose to do this, and that was why, how nice, you have a special angel. As far as your sister-in-law, I'm not sure what it is, but as far as this lovely lady is concerned, please give her our love. Please give her my assurance that her baby is safe and well and helping with the other children, and will help her throughout her life and her children. Chris.
I just want to give you the heads up that it's about a minute before noon. I know we had a little bit of technical difficulties here this morning too, so.
Well, it happens, and I know that, you're busy and I'm busy, and we do the very best we can, and I know that every one of you out there knows that. So if we haven't answered quite as many questions today as we normally would, there it is. And it is what it is. Yes.
So did you want one or two more?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, of course. Please. Sorry.
All right. Donna from New York City says hello, and do you have any message for her?
I don't, Donna, because we're out of time, but how nice that you came to say hello to us, and please don't give up on us. Keep asking questions of us. We're here every Thursday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for The Spirit World Sees All. You can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all over the place, right, Chris?
Yes.
Let's have another one.
Betta wants to know what Gray Eagle thinks of her.
Well, Gray Eagle is stroking my face, and I think at the moment, what he thinks better is, I'm sure he likes you, but what he thinks is that it is time to close. We've done the best that we can do now. And so, all right, if you want to know any more about having a consultation with me, if you want to know about my books, my guided meditations, if whatever you want to know about me, if you want to know more about our upcoming webinar, the 24th of October, Chris is going to put up a link. You can click the link and go straight to Eventbrite, or you can just go on your own computer, Google Eventbrite, put in my name, and if it says tickets are sold out, don't believe it, because it's not true. There was a little glitch there, so there are still some tickets available, so please, just go to Eventbrite, or email me, Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com. I shall be, now I know how to restream. It's, oh gosh, you've put it in my hands, and now I'm going to be playing around with it quite often. I am in the next day or two going to be feeding my Christmas cake, if anybody wants to see how I do that. And I'm probably not going to give you a heads up. I'm just going to do it when I feel like it. So, remember, it is recorded. You can always go back. You can always go to Facebook or to YouTube and find it. So even if you don't see it live as it's going on, which is always a fun thing to do, just join me anyway. I think I actually might, as well as feeding the Christmas cake with brandy, I might just be having a little brandy my own self, or maybe a glass of sherry, because that's what we do at Christmas time in the mornings. So anything else? Did I forget anything else, Chris? I don't think so, right?
No, I think you covered it. We'll be on Saturday, so that's the next time people can listen.
Yes. So Saturday morning it is story time, and it will be a really good story. I'm not going to give you any clues. I'm just going to make you wait. Saturday morning, Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. That is 4 o'clock in the afternoon, British time, and the rest of you have to figure it all out for yourselves. I love the fact, though, that you are coming from all different parts of the world. And what I also love is, please, please, please let us know, where you're from. I mean, so we've had someone from India, someone from Belgium, from all over the place, but we do love to see where you're all from. We hope you enjoyed your being with us today. I'd like to say thank you to Grey Eagle. I'd like to say thank you very much, Chris, for doing this for us. And if I don't see you before Thursday, before Saturday, whoops, if I don't see you before Saturday, then I look forward to seeing you then. In the meantime, please, please, please have a very blessed rest of today, and have a very, very blessed weekend. Just a heads up again, if you would like to contact us or be on our healing list or be on our mailing list, email Rosemary at rosemaryaltea.com, and we'll get your emails answered as fast as we can. That's it. So thank you for joining me, and I shall see you next time.